I'd like to call the meeting, County Commissioner meeting for today, April the 11th, to order, and have the minister to come up and say our prayer.
Little Levitt first. Jerry Clower was one of the greatest storytellers ever been. He told a story about a feather had a monkey. Now that monkey was something special. He had a flashlight in one hand and a gun belt on the other, and around him, and he'd go up that tree when the dogs treed the coon, and he'd hunt that thing and pull that little .22 pistol and shoot that coon out. Fella heard about it, so he called him. He says, "I want to go coon hunt with you." And he had two of the finest coon dogs you ever laid your eyes on. They went out, sure enough. They treated a coon, and that little monkey, he done run up there with that flashlight, looking up at that tree. Shot that coon. Boy said, "We got to do that again." So they got it up, and them dogs done treated another one. That monkey went up that tree. He looked all over that tree and wasn't nothing up there. That monkey come down out of that tree and killed both them dogs. I said, "You kill my dogs!" God says, "The anything he hates worse than a coon is a lying coon." Let's go to the Lord. Father, it's a privilege to be here tonight. You have blessed us so much. You've blessed our county. And Lord, you gave us some of the most beautiful weather today we could ever ask for. So we come asking forgiveness of our sin and cleansing, Lord. And now, Lord, tonight, the county commissioners are meeting. They're going to be discussing the business of our county. I'm asking, Lord, that you give them wisdom, that you allow them, Lord, to make the right decisions for the people of our county, that they themselves will know they've done the right thing. And Brother James, Lord, you know what he's going through with his back. I'm going to ask, Lord, that your Holy Spirit touch him. Help him, Lord, that he'll be able to overcome that. Let this meeting be peaceful. Let it be fruitful. And let it be good. We claim this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Join us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that invitation.
I don't see anybody signing up.
No speakers, so nobody signed up for public comment, so we don't need to open the door for that. We have old business. Discussion and possible consideration of electrical service RFP for the Upson County Judicial Center by Parish Construction Group. We've had Parish Construction Group here last meeting, and they also presented their recommendations at the work session. So what we need to do today is, since it was tabled last meeting, so because we didn't have enough commissioners present to vote on it, but we do tonight, so we need to take care of this first, the old business. So I'll entertain a motion.
Well, I make a motion that we go ahead and do exactly what Parish Construction decided for us, to let Upson EMC to be the service provider for the new judicial center.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further comment? Any questions? Mr. Tinsley?
I'll be calling the roll tonight. Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
And Vice Chairman Wilder?
Abstain. Okay. We have next on the agenda is the consent agenda. We have approval of the March 23rd, 2023 work session meeting minutes. We have approval of the March 28th, 2023 regular meeting minutes. Acceptance of the resolution 02-2023 declaration of a local emergency and approval of an emergency agreement with Attorney Heath. approval of an agreement with Attorney Heath English. Do I have a motion on the consent agenda?
A motion we approve.
I'll second that.
Any questions, any comments? Mr. Tennyson?
Commissioner Watson?
I approve all but the March 28th meeting. I wasn't in attendance.
Okay. Commissioner Ellington?
Once again, I was at the March 28th meeting, regular meeting minutes. I was not here, but I approve
Okay.
B through E with the exception of C.
Okay, noted. Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
And Commissioner Wilder?
Yes.
Okay.
New business. Discussion and possible consideration on the surplus vehicles from the sheriff department. I think we all have a list of those vehicles.
If, I know there were some issues, Mr. Vice Chairman, with some commissioners accessing their virtual folder. I've got a printed copy here if the commission just wanted to take time to look at the actual hard copy.
All the vehicles listed on that, I guess this is the Allen, that they are the ones that's being turned in.
It is, and that was the list actually that the sheriff provided a few weeks ago.
What is our method of to liquidate those assets?
Through auction with
T-Lin?
Elin Davis, thank you, in Macon. That's who we've used historically in the past. So we either have them towed down, if we have enough people, personnel, we drive them down that are drivable. But T-Lin actually emailed me today. They have an auction in June 3rd, I believe. They have some people that can drive vehicles, the ones that need to be towed can be towed. Because we have quite a few now, including those.
So, do they charge us if they have to?
Well, it comes off of, technically, it's added to the price when, the sales price. It's, let's just say it's deducted from the sales proceeds, the cost, including the commission.
And I don't know what the percentage is of commission or anything like that, but I know there's some auction time stuff that where the vehicles would have to be moved, and a lot of municipalities are right now ain't gonna go in auction time right now. For example, I can look at vehicles at only at Taylor County Sheriff's Office. Those vehicles don't move there. They're all bid through an online process. And I'm just saying, I don't know what the turnout is. I don't know if the value is there. I'm just simply saying if we wouldn't have to move the vehicles. They purchase through that auction time company. They got to remove them by a certain date. Or the auction company's paying us, or
If that's what the commission or county manager, we went about, we chose T-Lin Davis going all the way back to my first time here. So I talked to several different companies, including some that did the online. We wound up going with T-Lin Davis in particular for that reason, because they came on site and held the auction, because we had a huge amount of surplus vehicles and equipment. We have just consistently used them. Not had any issues with them, but we can look at other avenues for.
If I remember correctly, on the last auction they had out there, they had quite a few surplus vehicles out there, and they did have a certain length of time to remove those vehicles. Once the bidding was satisfied, they had a certain length of time to move those vehicles. And there were actual people on site with tow trucks and stuff to haul them off once they paid for the vehicle.
Now they would do that, come back out again if we have enough vehicles and equipment to do that. They wouldn't mind doing that. I think Commissioner Ellington is referring to a company where it's kind of like we do with the real estate sales. The vehicles are listed online, and then people can purchase those vehicles How the rest of it works, I'm not sure. But
It's Gov.
Gov deals, I think.
Gov deals, something like that. I mean, it's huge. I mean, you can all,
You can buy anything.
you
well,
can buy anything on. I'm just
if
trying to look at resources. We're a small county, you know, if we gotta drive these things, if there's 5 of them that's drivable and we gotta drive down there, that's 5 people we gotta pull from doing what they normally do, plus somebody else's job.
they would be
Do
towed,
this.
or T. Lynn Davis would drive them.
Right.
But I don't know about the Gov. I know the city sells vehicles that way, but they do their own picture taking. And that's where you go back to limited staff. I mean, there's only so many of us to, I don't, and I'm, whatever the board or the county manager asks me to do, we'll do it. But to market these things and get photos taken of all of them will take more time from us to be able to do that. But certainly, if you don't want to go this route with the vehicles we have accumulated, we can look into other means. I can certainly investigate that, see if it'd be simpler for a company to come out and take the photos.
This is, we got anything else we need to surplus
Yes, a lot of vehicles,
besides the sheriff's stuff?
yes. So there's probably 20 vehicles.
And they're gonna be done the same time these are?
That would be the plan.
So, what do you need out of us tonight?
Well, just the approval for the surplus, I generally always use T. Lynn Davis when we surplus them, but if the board is asking that we look at other means by which we can sell these vehicles, certainly. As long as, I guess I'm looking for you guys to say it's okay to surplus these, take them out of inventory, and they're available for sale. Or I can come back, you can wait and come back and present to you, hopefully by the next board meeting, some alternatives to these sales. You know, a methodology, method to sell them.
Well, unless somebody opposes, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that we approve these vehicles, the surplus list. I would just like to add in this motion that in the future, we need to look, just to do some research. That's all I was asking, to do some research to see if there's a better way to do it. So I'll make a motion that we approve this list here of surplus property from the sheriff's department to be sold.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second that we surplus the 9 vehicles listed from the sheriff's department. Any further discussion?
I would, the only thing I would, motion's already been made that way, but I'm just gonna make a comment on it, is to know what it's costing us to sell these things versus, this is on down the road, versus us selling, through Gov deals or something else. That's it. That's all I got to say.
Mr. Vice Chairman, we'll bring you back some additional information to a work session if that would be.
Right.
Show you, because I do know that some of our sister counties use Gov deals and they have varying levels of service where you may do the listings yourself and pay a small fee and put the hours and the time in there to take the pictures and write the descriptions and all that stuff, or I think you can hire some of their staff to come do it for you. I think there's different levels there, so we'll give you some additional information on that.
Okay. Mr. Tinsler, since we have approved a motion and a second, I guess we need to vote on this one.
Commissioner Watson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ellington,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
and Vice Chairman Wilder.
Yes. The next thing on the list, discussing a possible consideration of upgrade the supervisor control and data acquisition of SCADA system for the water department. And I see Mr. Ben is here tonight to bring us up to date and tell us all about this.
Yeah, so essentially, the system is outdated. It's a radio-based system, so it's spread out in the county as all of our tanks and wells and stuff like that. You know, it's hard to communicate with those radios talking to each other. And these options here are a cellular-based option. So, you know, it's more like live tracking it, you know, every so often. With both, well, all three systems, they, you know, the J.K. Duran, High Tide, and the Mission is more like a plug and play. So if there's like a lightning strike or something, we can, you know, have a box on the shelf to plug it in, and it, you know, it picks up where it left off. So now our radios are outdated and you can't even buy them hardly anymore. So, and we've had tons of, you know, failures of communication, leading to all kind of tanks being drained from, I mean, you know, I've talked to you several times about it, but it's just, it's something that's been overlooked for a long time and needs to be brought up to date.
So, Mr. Vice Chairman, this was an item we covered somewhat in the work session last time. My history with this project dates back to really the minute I walked in the door. Ben's predecessor identified this as a need. And in previous capital submissions, we have included information in the capital portion of the budget to include a replacement of the SCADA system. It's my understanding this system is about 20 years old and no longer software supported at all.
Right.
So we're left to support it ourselves. So the idea is they brought it to our attention, and you know, like every good administrator, we say, well, how many more years can you get out of it? And this is the end of the road. So, and during some significant weather events, I know that the staff's had some major frustrations with its performance. So.
You should.
Two things. I obviously I didn't make that work session, so you know I'm gonna ask the reasonable things to ask. How much is it gonna cost, and where's the money coming from?
We have three bids. We have three bids. Mission Communications bid at $37,188. They're out of Cummings, Georgia. Southern Flow bid at $139,523, and they're out of Alpharetta, Georgia. J.K. Duran Company bid at $45,000 out of Roswell, Georgia. So we had three bids. Two that was fairly close together. One that was $100,000 apart.
Right.
What I mean, you know, I would have just had to call up Southern Flow and say, hey guys, what were you thinking? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'd like to know, that was my question, was what's the difference? $100,000 difference could mean a whole different ballgame.
They're an upgraded version of what we have now. So where J.K. Duran and Mission have the ability to update all the time, like, you know, remotely and stuff, this would be our own system with Southern Flow. So there's no, I mean, in 20 years from now, it's still gonna need updating, whereas the other two, we can update, you know, per site base, you know. So that was the reason why theirs is a lot more. And there's no monthly or annually service fees for the Southern Flow like there are for the Mission and the J.K. Duran High Tide.
And what's their month, what's their fee?
It's annually. It's, so the J.K. Duran annually is $3,658, and the Mission is $3,164.40. So, but that's for all the sites that we have listed, and that's adding our lift station too. so we don't have that currently, which is sewer lift station,
Which lift station is that?
Lincoln Park.
Lincoln Park.
And Mr. Vice Chairman, if I may, just mention as I can see our county attorney squinting over there, we are having discussions about whose lift station that actually is. And I know I think we mentioned that in a brief discussion in the work session. I've reached out to the city staff to try to get a better understanding of the history behind it, because I guess technically it sits on housing authority property, so probably not a city asset.
That's
Certainly
not-
doesn't appear to be a county asset. However, we've been maintaining it, I guess, for 20 years, give or
Yeah,
take. So
And that lift station is not included in this.
Right.
So,
hopefully we won't have to add it, I guess.
So with this, with these companies being so, well, two of them are fairly close. The other one's, you know, like I said, $100,000 more than the other ones. Does this include, you know, I know it's the software, but how about the, everything that's, you know, your readers and everything on your water towers and everything else? All that gotta be changed?
yes.
Is that included in the price?
Wasn't Mission, their annual fee was like 100 and something, you said? So that would put them pretty close to the,
Mission was $31.64.
And the J.K. Duran and the Mission quotes already have a year service plan in their initial quote.
so you don't see there being any reason to go with the higher cost one because you're not getting any added benefits?
I don't think so. When Southern Flow installs all their equipment, they're gonna turn the key over to us and it's ours. They're not gonna support us like the Mission and the High Tide would. What I liked about the Mission and the High Tide, they're, you know, very similar. There's just a lot more flexibility and can add things to it, pressure, you know, gauges, readings and that sort of stuff, so.
Mr. Vice Chairman, while Mr. Berryhill is presenting to you all for the first time as your Utilities Director, and it being only 25 minutes into the meeting, I'd say 30, 40 more questions. Let's try to limit it to 40. But no, Mr. Vice Chairman, I do have another question for the Director, if I may. Ben, you've demoed all these systems?
I've not demoed them per se. I've talked with Brian Kelly with DSU.
Mhm.
He has Mission, and he was, you know, very supportive of their support. And, you know, the High Tide and the Mission they're tit for tat. They're Nike and Under Armour, if you want to say so.
Mr. Vice Chairman, one more question.
Sure.
So Mission is deployed on the city infrastructure here now?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so James asked another one, how are we gonna pay for it?
The
Water
funding for that
fund
would be-
balance?
Yes. We pay for it directly out of the water fund.
And then you're gonna have to give Alan a line item for a, annual fee too.
Oh,
So there'll be an annual fee on it.
yeah, we already have a line item for maintenance fees.
Yeah, that line item would have to be increased for next year.
And if I can add, Mission has a 3-year, I guess, like contract pricing that gives us a break if we go with them for a 3-year contract. It saves us roughly $1,200, $1,300 if we initially went with a 3-year contract instead of just doing it annually, so.
Where is this, where are they out of? Where's this company based out of?
Mission is out of
Comments?
Cummings, and then High Tide, or J.K. Duran is around Alpharetta, I think.
Roswell,
Roswell.
the southern flow is in Alpharetta.
J.K. Duran is the company that we currently have as well, too.
Any more questions?
No, I'll take Ben's, thing to let Mission, Mission is the low bidder, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yep, Mission is the low bidder, $37,188. Do we need a motion on that?
We do need a motion on that, yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to let Mission be the provider for the water department,
Yeah.
and at $37,188, and then go ahead and figure in the annual fee to maintain it.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second that we allow Mission Communications to provide a SCADA system for our water department. Are there any more questions? Hearing none, Mr. Tierney?
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
And Vice Chairman Wilder?
Yes.
That was too easy for Ben.
Oh,
He'll be back.
We didn't want to kill him the first time. And if you come asking for all that other stuff you want,
Time for comments from
Mr. Vice Chairman, if I could, while Mr. Berryhill is here, as I had said in a previous meeting, I think 2 meetings ago, he recently graduated from his Carl Vincent program, where he submitted a final project, which was, and I had the opportunity to sit in on the presentation, which was great. His final project was a presentation of the leak insurance program. So I wanted to use my time today to offer Mr. Berryhill a kind of a conceptual description of what that will look like, that will eventually make its way to your work session and hopefully to your agenda sometime soon. So if that would please the board, while Mr. Berryhill is here, I'd like to give him the opportunity to give you some, not the entire presentation, admittedly some parts were boring, but maybe just a 5-minute summary of what he has in mind, and keeping in mind I've actually been responsible for initiating a program just like this in another community, so I would love to have Ben the opportunity to describe it to you and give you the summary.
So right now, we don't have any type of leak insurance or adjustment policy. We sort of go off of, per customer type. So with Servline, they offer different rates and tiers of leak insurance for customers. And essentially, we would put it on everybody's bill, and it's a small premium, and it would cover up to a deductible amount for a leak or, a high usage bill that's not included, and I was watering my grass type deal. So it's a step in the right direction to get us on an even playing field and help out our customers the best that we can. It's very minimal. I mean, just for like a residential water customer, you're looking at less than $2 a month. And so if a customer doesn't want it, they can opt out of it at any time. It's definitely going to benefit us from having so many complaints from leaks that we have to deal with all the time. And it costs costs us money to give the customer water. So when we adjust it, I mean, we're not saying that we're losing money, but we're definitely not making as much. So,
We're gonna workshop this. Good, because I got a lot of comments on that.
So essentially, right now, the staff is using a whole lot of discretion and without any real policy direction. So we don't really have any kind of leak insurance program. So we make very subjective, in my opinion, decisions based, we tend to try to work with customers that have great performance on paying their bill. We use that as a category this way, and I think what Ben did a great job in his presentation to Carl Vincent is that everyone gets exactly the same coverage. So whatever happens behind the meter that you technically are responsible for, you are covered up to a certain amount of events, and you have multiple tiers to choose from. When you implement it on everyone's bill. So yes, the first few months can be difficult as far as customer outreach because they see this new line item on their bill. They have the ability to call the office and to have it removed, and they would never have to pay it. But if they ever had a leak, there would be no forgiveness. So people would have the opportunity to opt in. They would be covered if they wanted to be covered. If they didn't want to be covered, they wouldn't have to. So
It's an option.
mhm.
Why would it be an option?
it doesn't have to be.
Right.
There's a section where we can put it into our base rate.
First of all, I have some experience with something just like this. I have some property outside of Upson County in another county. I had a leak that I was unaware of because I live here. I went there on the weekends occasionally. An $800 water bill came in for a place that I hadn't been to in 2 months. If I hadn't have been paying that $2.50 a month on my bill, I would have been responsible. And they told me, they said, you would. I didn't even realize I was paying the $2, but I was so happy that I had paid that $2.50. And in a lot of situations like us, it's difficult. You want to sympathize with the customer because I don't know I'm sure all of us at some point or another has got a call from a water customer. I got a lot back when things were freezing that people have water lines out in the yard that they were unaware of or just moved there or whatever, where they got this leak, and then they owe $300 or $400 water bill where they're used to paying an $80 water bill. Well, then we got to go and we got to try to figure out how to work with this customer. But guess what? Some of that water that we're discounting or we're giving them away for free, we're paying for from the city. We can't continue to do that. So I don't see how it can be an option. If you own county water, you got insurance in case you experience a leak, because anybody's susceptible to a leak. And what a lot of people don't realize is it leaks from wherever that meter's at, all the way to your house, under your house, around your house. You're responsible for that water. And I get it. Things are tough, but hey, you got to have that kind of insurance because it don't take but one leak and you get an $800 water bill. What you gonna do then?
Pay it.
So I think it's a great idea to do that. I don't even think I had a deductible with mine if it didn't.
Yeah, it's the monthly fee is the deductible.
Right. So.
And is there a limit? Is there typically like a limit?
Yeah, it's like 2 months because of the way you're building up behind. And I think you have to pay at least like a 3-month average is what your minimum payment would be for the leak, like if it was repaired.
Well, we look forward to bringing you more information about that, and I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions. And there will be a number of options that Ben and I will present to you, and I'm sure we'll find the right one for us. Other than that, Mr. Vice Chairman, I have nothing further.
Mr. English, you have anything?
Just appreciate the vote of confidence from you all.
What?
And
I didn't vote on that.
you did, actually, and I appreciate it. And formally congratulate Commissioner Watson on his new addition to this meeting.
Thank you, thank you.
And I wish him many nights of long sleep. Other than that, that's all I have.
Running on fumes, but it's okay.
Mr. Ellington?
I just, a couple things, it's really just comments, really, so don't nobody get too upset with them, but, you know, I'm not, 2023 started out pretty rough for me, but I'm not, two things I'm not gonna forget, I'm not gonna let this boy forget, y'all get sick of me saying it. Thurston Well, I'm tired of hearing about free money. That's our well, it serves our people, it generates revenue for this county, for the enterprise. I want that well fixed in 2023. Hannah's Mill Road Bridge, 2028 is not an option for Commissioner James Ellington. We got a T-splosh. It's gonna be coming back up on the ballot. I'm gonna have a hard time going and asking people to vote for a T-splosh when we got a bridge that ain't gonna get fixed in 2028. So those are two things that I'm gonna press the gas on. So be prepared. I'm gonna do my homework. Every time you come at me with something, I'm gonna cut you down. We gotta get it done.
I can run fast.
That's all I got.
Commissioner Jones?
I don't have anything. Oh, yeah. Appreciate y'all showing up. Appreciate Ben taking good care of the water. It's good and drinkable. So, that's it.
I have just a short.
Don't forget about Ben.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm down here.
Okay.
I just had two quick questions, and it relates to the Judicial Center. The mobilization date for Parish, what was that exact date? May 1st?
May
May
1st.
1st.
And then did the latest plan, did it get circulated to all the end users? Okay.
Not to the end users, no, only to you,
Okay.
only to this group. Yeah.
Is it going to be, I know we exchanged some emails, but is it going to get sent out as like a final, not a review period, but just saying, hey, this is the final?
As long as this group is comfortable that it doesn't need any further revision from you, then yes. So I think I circulated it about, I don't know, maybe 7 days ago, something like that. So, and I haven't had any feedback on it, so I'm fine to share it. I just want to make sure that there's no.
I've actually seen it, but I mean, I see some red lines. I mean,
Right.
I don't necessarily, does that mean there's a wall there? I mean,
Ultimately, I mean, in my
what kind of
opinion.
cost is associated?
Well, and Parish did build
Build it
into,
in.
they built it in, taking into consideration that change was happening while the bids were coming in. They built in, I think, a $250,000 contingency for that change. So, in my opinion, I think the plan needs to go back to all the end users, not for another round of discussion and review and debating over it, but just to say, this is the plan. We took your comments and considerations. This is the plan we're start construction with, and then also tell them about the alternates that we did select, because some of those affect the end users pretty heavily.
Yeah, I can absolutely do that.
That's it.
Sorry, I forgot you were there. Just in a hurry to get out of here. I want to thank Ben for his research and his presentations on the SCADA system. He did a fine job. And I want to also take a minute to welcome Commissioner Ellington back, because we really miss him from being here. I'm glad to see him back.
Somebody got to start trouble.
Somebody got to cause some trouble. That said, I'm done. Are there any
Anything, Jason?
afterthoughts?
You got anything?
No, sir.
You ready?
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, and we are, meeting is adjourned. Done.
Scrimmage t-ball game.
We plugged that, even though practice this week, we got rained out.